everybody. Uh, well, it's storming. I'm traumatized of storms, but it reminds me of something that happened down here one time. We had straight line winds to come through one time, and that was the one time I've ever seen it, and the only time I've ever seen it, really. I haven't seen it again since, but it scared me more than any thunderstorm really ever has. Even though there was no thunder and lightning involved in these straight line winds. But what happened that particular day was I'd come home from work and I was getting ready to go back to the bedroom. Well, I'd ate, watched a little bit of TV, etc., etc. And I was getting ready to go back to the bedroom, and I told Duke, and I said, boy, if you need to go out, you need to go now. And he sort of went outside, and he stopped and looked up at me, and he backed up, and he came back in the house. I said, Duke, I'm not playing now. Once I go back to the bedroom, I ain't coming back out. And he just wouldn't go out, so I thought, well. So I went over, and I was getting ready to turn the TV off. And something funny was on TV. I don't remember what it was, but anyway, I ended up sitting down on the arm of the couch and watching whatever was on. And all of a sudden, I heard this noise. Now, bear in mind, now it was pretty and sunny all day, and it was warm outside this in the summertime. And I heard this loud noise coming from that end of the house over on this side of me. And I turned around and looked, and it sounded like my roof was coming off. It literally sounded like the roof was being peeled back. And it was coming towards me, and I'm like, I was shocked. And I hear it go overhead, and I still hadn't shut my front door, so looking out the glass, the storm door, I see my tree like almost bent double. The wind was just, I'd never seen anything like it. And it came out of nowhere, and there it was, and then everything started browning out. And you hear about brownouts in New York and stuff. Well, I'd never experienced that either. It's just two things I'd never experienced came upon me all at once. I mean, the TV started browning out. The lights started browning out. Everything going, coming back on. And I'm like, what the hell? And so, I didn't know what to think. So I grabbed my pocketbook, my cell phone, and little Ruby, my baby doll. I'll have to introduce you to her in the next video for those of you all who haven't seen her. But anyway, grabbed those three things. I didn't even bother turning the TV off because I didn't want to take the time to pick up the remote. I took off back to the back. I can't even tell you if I shut my front door. I took off back down the hallway into my bedroom, and I actually got in my closet. All kinds of things were going through my mind, I couldn't figure out what was happening. And so everything kept browning out, coming back on, browning out, coming back on. And while everything was staying on, the phone rang. I had a cordless phone in the bedroom. And I went over and answered it, and it was Stephanie, and she was like, Mom. She said, what's going on? I said, I don't know, I guess she figured I would know because I always keep up with the weather. This was just out of the blue. I said, I don't know. And about that time, everything started browning out again. And then the power went off completely. So that cut us off on the phone. And so then the bed felt like it was moving. And so I run back over and I get in the closet again. And then my phone starts ringing. But the only one that, I would have been able to answer was all the way in here in the kitchen because I got a phone on the wall in there. But I wasn't going to walk to the house to answer that phone. I wasn't going to do it. I was not going to answer that phone. Because then I would have had to get out of the closet. So meanwhile, this is still going on. And then the next day, so I thought, well, that must be Stephanie. And so I got my cell phone out and I called her on my cell phone. And she sounded like she was all winded and stuff, I'm like, where are you at? What are you doing? She said, I'm on my way to your house. Because she lives, on the other side of the park, which is quite a walk, but not that far. And so she was on her way to my house, and, I wanted to say, no, go home, stay indoors, but yet at the same time I couldn't because I wanted her here with me because I was scared to be alone. And then if she was up there alone, if there was a lot of damage done, I wouldn't have known if she was all right. This way, we could be together. We could help each other out. So I told her, hurry, please, hurry, please, hurry. So she said on her way down here that stuff was flying everywhere, and that the wind was so hard that it was knocking her over. And a lot of times when she was running down through the road to get down here, that she found her hands in front of her on the pavement, you know, like she's been blown over and having to fall and catch herself and run at the same time, running on all fours. So when she got here, we lost all power. The power stayed out at that point. And the winds blew like that, I guess, for maybe 2 hours. And she, at one point, she was like, Mom, are you bumping the bed? Because we was in the bedroom. I said, no. And she's like, oh, God, the bed's moving. Well, I know this. I asked her if she wanted to come stand in the closet. No, she didn't want to get in the closet. So after about 2 hours and it quit, and we wanted to wait, made sure it was quit, and the power still stayed off. It remained off just about all night. But I said, well, let's go look outside and see what the damage is. And I opened my front door, and everything on my patio now, everything, I had this real pretty big statue out there that had withstood hurricanes and everything else. I had it on my patio at the top of the steps. That thing was busted into 1,000 pieces, and it had withstood hurricanes for a couple of years, withstood hurricanes. But everything I had on my patio had blown from one side all the way directly into one corner. It was all busted. And don't you know that when I opened that door and went out there and saw all that out there, you could see steam coming out of your mouth because it had got bitter cold outside. Just all that happened in one day. It was bitter cold. And that was the scariest storm. I don't see how people do it that live in places that are prone to tornadoes. Even though this wasn't even a tornado, I don't see how they do it. I don't see how they do it. I would have rather faced a thunderstorm that day, but oh, it traumatized me. That's something I ain't never going to forget. And I just wanted to share that with you while I'm sitting here in the middle of a thunderstorm, but I think it's about over, so I'm going to go and find me something to get into. All right. Bye-bye.